Hi there, for today's Read Aloud, we are going to be reading Dr. Seuss's ABC. Now, for this book, we're going to be focusing on alliteration. Can you remember what alliteration is? Alliteration is when two or more nearby words have the same beginning sound or letters, right? So let's think of an example. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. What letter and sound am I focusing on? The letter P, right? The P sound. Okay, so now this book is rather long, so I'll stop here and there to point out some alliteration, but I'm going to try to read it straight through, and you're going to have a chance during the reading discussion to talk about this book a little bit more, okay? All right, let's get started. Dr. Seuss's ABC. Big A, little a, what begins with A? Aunt Annie's alligator, A. A. Remember I said two or more nearby words start with the same sound, have the same sound, or start with the same letter. Big B, little b, what begins with B? Barber, baby, bubbles, and a bumblebee. Big C, little c, what begins with C? Camel on the ceiling, C. Big D, little d, David Donald do, dreamed a dozen donuts and a dog too. So right here, stop real quick and tell you. Remember, two or more words have the same sound, start with the same sound. D. So what letter are we focusing on here? The letter D, the D sound, right? So this is an example of alliteration sentence. A, B, C, D, E. Ear, egg, elephant, E. Big F, little f, F. Four fluffy feathers on a fifer, feff. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Goat, girl, goo, goggles, G. So this is a really fun book too. Big H, little h, hungry horse, hay. Hen in a hat, hooray. Big I, little I. Ichabod is itchy, so am I. Big J, little j, what begins with J? Jerry Jordan's jelly jar and jam begin that way. Do you remember earlier I said that sometimes alliteration can be said as an example of a tongue twister when your words get all fumbled in your mouth? Right here, I just had that moment where I was trying to read Jerry Jordan's and my mouth, I just couldn't get the words out correctly. I said Jerry's Jordan. I mixed up this a little bit. So that's an example of a tongue twister. It's hard to get the words out. So Jerry Jordan, jelly jar, and jam begin that way. What letter and sound are we focusing on? The letter J, the J sound. Big K, little k, kitten, kangaroo. Kick a kettle, kite, and a king's keckaroo. Big L, little l. Little Lola Lop, left leg, lazy lion licks a lollipop. Lazy lion licks a lollipop. Does it follow the rule of two or more words starting with the same sound or letter? Does this follow it? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. We actually have 4 words that have the same sound and letter. Okay, so that one is a good example of an alliteration sentence. Big M, little m. Many mumbling mice are making midnight music in the moonlight. Mighty nice. So I'm having to watch myself because this is a lot of tongue twisters. Some of this kind of gets jumbled in my mouth. Big N, little n. What begins with those? 9 new neckties and a night shirt, and a nose. So after you read a couple of these, it's kind of hard to say. O is very useful. You use it when you say, Oscar's only ostrich oiled an orange owl today. What are we focusing on? What letter here? the letter O. Good job. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Painting pink pajamas, policeman in a pail, Peter, Pepper's puppy, and now Papa's in the pail. What letter are we focusing on? The letter P, the P sound. Painting pink pajamas, policeman in a pail. Remember, at least 2 or more words, so even though it's just 2 words that have the letter P in the beginning of the word, this is still an example of alliteration because you just need at least 2 words that are close by. Policeman in a pail, they're pretty close by, so this works. Big R, little r, Rosie, Robin, Ross. Rosie's going riding on her red rhinoceros. Big S, little s, silly Sammy Slick, slipped 6 sodas and got sick. T, 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 T. What begins with T? 10 tired turtles on a tuttle tree. Big U, little u. What begins with U? Uncle Ub's umbrella and his underwear too. Big V, little v. Vera Violet Vin is very, very, very awful on her violin. What letter are we focusing on here? What is the letter for this alliteration sentence? The letter V. Good job. WWW. Willie Waterloo washes Warren Wiggins, who is washing Waldo Woo. See? Gets all jumbled up because it's kind of there. It's a lot. It's a lot to say. X is very useful if your name is Nixie Knox. It also comes in handy spelling axe and extra fox. So this really is this one really isn't an example of alliteration sentence because it is focusing on X, but they're focusing on not words that start with an X, but words that have X in them. Okay? Big Y, little y. A yawning yellow yak, young Yolanda Jorgensen is yelling on his back. So let's look at that sentence. A yawning yellow yak. Does it have at least 2 or more words that start with the same sound or letter? Yes, 1, 2, 3. So check. Does it have the same sound in the beginning or same letter? Yeah. Is that an example of alliteration sentence? It is. Good job. Let's check this next one. Young Yolanda Jorgensen is yelling on his back. Does it have at least 2 or more words that start with the same sound or letter? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it has at least 2 or more. It has 4 words, so that works. Does it have the same letter? Y. Yes. Same sound. Because it can have either one or both. Yeah. So, yep, that's another example of an alliteration sentence. Okay. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. So I want to take a moment real quick and I want you to think of as many words that start with a Z before I read this, since this is the last one we're focusing on. Think of as many words that start with a Z. All right. Big Z, little z. What begins with Z? Let's find out. Let's see if any of the words that you thought in your head are on this next page. I do. I am a zigger, zagger, zug, as you can plainly see. All right. So, I hope you like this book, Dr. Seuss's ABC. Like I said, this book has a bunch of alliteration sentences. We pointed a couple out. So what I would like for you to do now is think back about the story. Think of maybe your favorite alliteration sentence. I know there's a whole bunch, and you may not say it exactly the same as it was written in the book, but just think of your favorite example. Think back to, I like the first one. Aunt Annie's alligator. I thought that was a fun alliteration sentence. And if you can't think back, if you can't remember any of the sentences, then I want you to at least think of what is alliteration? Because in a minute you're going to go ahead and talk about this with your partner if you're at school. And if you're at home, then you could just pull your stuffed animal, or if there's an adult or sibling close by, you can talk to them about it. But let's take a moment. What is alliteration? All right, alliteration is when you have two or more words that are close by that start with the same sound or letter. Okay? All right, I hope you enjoyed today's Read Aloud, Dr. Seuss's ABC.